Hello students, I am Narendra Babu Kota, Chemistry faculty in Sri Chaitanya Education Institutions. Now I am going to discuss JEE Mains September 5th second session chemistry paper. Now we see the first question. It is organic question based on electrophilic aromatic substitution. So here see reagent is acetic anhydride in presence of pyridine base, and reactant is one methyl group is there and another is NH2 group is there on benzene ring. Here out of these two we know amine can react with acetic anhydride. So first what will happen? NH2 Me reacts with acetic anhydride AC2 in presence of pyridine. You will get acylation of amine group will happen. Acylation of amine group will happen. Next you see, next they are treating with Br2 FeCl3. And here Me is there, methyl group is there at meta position. Next they are treating with Br2 FeCl3. This is halogenation reaction. The benzene ring already has NHCOCH3 Me. This is moderately activating group. This is weak activating. So who will win the competition here? NHCOCH3 wins the competition, and as it is ortho para directing and this is bulky also, so next substitution will happen para to this position, because as it is bulky ortho is not preferable. Para to that NHCOCH3 substitution happens. Bromination happens at para to that position. Next, third step of the reaction is hydrolysis. On hydrolysis in basic medium, this NHCOCH3 hydrolyze and give back to NH2 amine part. Now the answer given here is, you can check, NH2 para to NH2, bromine is there, next to bromine methyl is there, so answer is 1. Next we see the second question, which is based on molar conductivity and concentration graph. So molar conductivity on y axis, concentration on x axis. So we studied molar conductance and concentration, conductivity and root C. For strong electrolytes you will get straight lines, for weak electrolytes you will get rectangular hyperbola. So here the given graph is rectangular hyperbola. So you have to identify this is definitely belongs to weak electrolyte. So in this 4 you should identify which is weak electrolyte. HCl is strong electrolyte, KNO3 salt strong electrolyte, NaCl salt strong electrolyte, HCl this is strong acid, acetic acid is weak acid, weak electrolyte. So answer is 2. Now we discuss the third question. It is about correct statement about probability density from nucleus. See, first option it is given 2s orbital. Probability density psi square with respect to r for 2s orbital is, you will get like this. They are saying it can never be 0, but it is 0 at this point. So this is wrong. It can be negative for 2p orbital. For 2p orbital, psi square versus r. 2p orbital, what do you get? 1p, 2p. We'll start from here, nucleus from 0. Okay. So here they are saying negative, there is no negative, so this is wrong. It can be 0 for 3p orbital. For 3p orbital, psi square r you will get like this, 3 peaks. So it can be 0 at this point and at this point, 2 points it is 0. So it can be 0 is given, so that is right statement. And it can be 0 for 1s orbital is given. When you take psi square versus r for 1s orbital, you will get like this. It will not be 0. So this is wrong. So answer is 3. Now we see the fourth question. Lattice enthalpy and enthalpy of solution of NaCl are given. So what you have to find? Hydration enthalpy you have to find. You know delta H enthalpy of solution is equal to delta H lattice enthalpy plus delta H hydration. So it is, we have to find hydration enthalpy. This is given. Delta H solution, what is given? 4 kilojoules is given. 4 kilojoules per mole is equal to delta H lattice is given 788 kilojoules per mole plus delta H hydration. So delta H hydration is equal to 4 minus 788 kilojoules per mole. 4 minus 788 means what to say? Minus 784 kilojoules. Minus 784 kilojoules, answer is 3. And next, fifth question. See, the question is the one that is not suitable for removal of permanent hardness of water. You know Clark's method, we use calcium hydroxide, lime water, sufficient quantity, limited quantity, we use to remove temporary hardness of water. So this is not used to remove permanent hardness. So answer is 2. Now sixth question you see, which among the following compounds are exhibiting geometrical isomerism? See, when double bond is attached to ring like this, if these two groups are same, this CH2 is same and here Cl. So these two groups are same, means it won't exhibit geometric isomerism. Next you see second option, CHCl, and here CH3 is there, here CH3 is there, methyl groups. So these two groups are different. With respect to this double bond, these two groups are same, but these two methyl groups, one can be present, both the methyl groups are present at the top, and one methyl group is present at the top and other methyl group is present at the bottom. If both methyl groups are top, this you can say cis isomer. One methyl top, other is bottom, you can say this is trans isomer. So answer is 2. Next question. See here the question is rate constant is measured at different temperatures. You have to find activation energy. You know rate constant ln k is equal to ln A minus EA by RT. So on x axis what we have taken, ln k we have taken on y axis, on x axis 10 power 3 by t is taken. That means 10 power 3 by t is equal to 1, that means t is equal to 1000 Kelvin. 10 power 3 by t is equal to 2, that means t is equal to 500 Kelvin. Similarly 10 power 3 by t is equal to 5, that means t is equal to 200 Kelvin. See, let us take at the origin. At the origin 10 power 3 by t is equal to 0, that means t is infinity. Once t is infinity in this equation, t is infinity, then ln k is equal to ln A. When t is infinity, ln k is equal to ln A. That means ln k value how much here? That is equal to 10. That is equal to 10. Now you got ln A value, this is 10. Okay. Now you see the point. When t is equal to 10 power 3 by t is equal to 5. 10 power 3 by t is equal to 5 means t is equal to how much? 200 Kelvin. When t is equal to 200 Kelvin, ln k is equal to 0. See, when 10 power 3 by t is equal to 5, that means t is equal to 200 Kelvin, then ln k is equal to 0, that means k is equal to 1. So we have k is equal to, or anywhere ln k by t is equal to 0 is given. So at 200 Kelvin you substitute ln k is equal to ln A minus EA by R into 200 you write. Ln k is equal to 0, ln A 10 minus EA by 200 R, EA by 200 R, 10 is equal to EA by 200 R, EA is equal to 2000 R. 2000 R, this is in joules. In kilojoules, 2 are kilojoules. 2 are kilojoules means answer is 3. Next 8th question. They are asking major product with cyclic ketone and alcohol is there. you are treating with the H2SO4. Here the products are, in all cases elimination is there, that means here dehydration is happening. Here dehydration is happening. So in dehydration, always in dehydration, what we say, in dehydration always conjugated product is major, in dehydration. In dehydration, conjugated product is always major. So in which case you can say conjugation with respect to this C double bond O, this is alpha beta conjugation is there, here no conjugation, here it is there, here it is not conjugation, here it is not conjugation. Conjugation is there in product 1. So answer is 1. Next question please, 9. I am saying increasing order of boiling points, all are phenols only, but at para position different groups are there. Methyl electron releasing group, NO2 strong withdrawing group, NH2 net electron releasing, OCH3 electron releasing. So here because of hydrogen bond, okay, because of hydrogen bond, NH2 form hydrogen bond, OH can form hydrogen bond. So 3 gets some advantage, 3 gets advantage, but in other cases boiling point mainly depends on, net dipole moment value. In first case you see OH CH3, this is we can say net releasing, this is net releasing, both are in opposite direction. Second case you see OH is releasing, NO2 is withdrawing. So it is both are adding here. So second case boiling mu is high. Mu is high means boiling point is high. Third case hydrogen bonding. Okay. Third case hydrogen bonding makes that little bit more boiling point. So in fourth case you see OH is there, OCH3 is there. OH is releasing, OCH3 is also releasing. So both are releasing. So here both are releasing. So they are going in opposite direction, getting cancelled. So based on this, you see least dipole moment is expected for this, because OH and CH3 both are working in this opposite directions. This is almost you can say this is non-polar part also. That's why you can say one has least boiling point. So one has least boiling point is there in option 2 and option 4. And here see when you getting into next you see this, because of hydrogen bonding and boiling points 2 and 3 are highest. So 2 and 3 are highest is there in here in option 2 only. So option 2 only most appropriate. This question actually when you look at the values, exact values given in the books, when you go, so here no option is, these two options will, you can say this option second question, and 3 is more than 2, these two options will, you can say class, you can ask JEE mains people whatever the official answer, you can challenge this question. Okay, but most appropriate answer here is answer 2, based on dipole moment NO2 and OH is adding up. Next hydrogen bonding makes that 3, least one because of non-polar part boiling point of first one is least, so most appropriate is 2. Next question please. Next question, 10th question you see. This is based on polymers, whether those are condensation polymers or addition polymers. The option given nylon are polyamides. These are polyamides. They are asking which is not obtained by condensation. Polyamides means loss of water will happen. So one is NH2, other is COOH group will combine and water will lose. So these are not addition polymers. They are condensation polymers, so they are not answers. Bakelite means phenol and formaldehyde. So here OH and HCHO is there. Here also what will happen? First you will get OH, CH2OH, and again it reacts with other phenol. So it attacks on the ortho or para position. Here in this process what will happen? CH2. So this OH and this hydrogen will lose. So this is also condensation polymer. This is condensation. This is condensation. This is condensation. Not condensation. Buanion. Buanion is butadiene and acrylonitrile. So whichever has only double bonds, only unsaturated system, those are addition polymers. So answer is 1. Next 11th question we discuss. Here they are asking us major product, alkene is the reactant, HBr is the reagent. Alkene and HBr, you can say this is Markovnikov addition. And Markovnikov and carbocation is intermediate. Carbocation intermediate means first you have to take CH3, CH, double bond, CH, CH, CH3, this is the reactant. When you add H plus, first H plus addition will happen, more stable carbocation will form CH3, CH2, CH plus, CH, CH3. Next carbocation intermediate will happen. Sorry, this carbocation is secondary. So there is a chance is there, this hydrate shift can happen, H minus shift. So tertiary carbocation can form CH3, CH2, CH2, C plus, CH3, CH3. Carbocation rearrangement will happen. So here secondary to tertiary rearrangement will happen. Now here next step Br minus will attack. Br minus means CH3, CH2, CH2, that electrophilic part carbocation place Br will attach. Once if it is attached, you will get the product that. So with tertiary carbon is attached to bromine. So what is the case where tertiary carbon is attached to bromine? This is the case where tertiary carbon is attached to bromine. Here primary carbon, here secondary carbon, here secondary carbon. Answer is 1. Next we go to 12th question. Hydrogen peroxide in pure state. The options are regarding structure, linear, planar and non-planar. We know that hydrogen peroxide has open book structure. Two oxygen atoms are on the spine of the book and two hydrogen atoms are on the covers of the book. So definitely it is non-planar. So they have given linear. So this is planar, these two are wrong. This is planar is given, it is not planar, it is open book structure. Open book structure. So answer is 4, non-planar, almost colorless. Actually that is light blue color, pale blue color. But based on planarity and planarity only you can decide. This is non-planar open book structure. Answer is 4. Next, 13th question. Boron and silicon of very high purity can be obtained through. This question is based on metallurgy. Here they have given options: vapor phase refining, liquefaction, electrolytic refining, zone refining, all this. Zone refining, these 4 are given. This is based on metallurgy. We have to see extra purification of after extraction of metal, there are purification of metals are there. That NCERT based question directly, it is zone refining method. Answer is 4. Next, 14th question. The correct order of ionic radii. Which ions are given? Oxide is given, nitride is given, fluoride, Mg plus 2, Na plus, Al plus 3. These are all isoelectronic species. This is the simplest question. In isoelectronic species, nuclear charge increase means, that means atomic number increase means what will happen? Size decrease. Which has highest atomic number? Aluminum. So least size. Next, this is 14. This is 13 atomic number. 12, 11, 9, 8, 7. Least atomic number, more size. N minus 3 is more than O minus 2, F minus, Na plus, Mg plus 2, Al plus 3. Answer is 2. Next question. This is chemistry in everyday life question. This we have to read NCERT. This is antihistamine. Bromophenyramine is antihistamine. This we have to read and memory based question. This is, we have to remember this. Next, 16th question. See, this is solid state question. An element crystallizes in FCC unit cell with a cell edge A. Distance between the centers of 2 nearest octahedral voids is given. So, in FCC, octahedral voids are present at a body center and edge center. They are present at the body center and edge center. When you draw the cube, when we draw the cube, this is edge center. Here particles are there. At edge centers, particles are there. Besides edge center, body center also particle is there. Now, this distance is A. Obviously, this distance is A by 2, this distance is A by 2. The closest distance is this one. You have to find this one. Or you can say this distance, these two particles here, body center, edge center. Any of, either you can take this distance or you find this distance. Any of that is the answer, both are same. Whichever is closest, that is the answer. If they are different, if they are same, that is the answer. Now you apply this right angle triangle, this is right angle triangle. So, this distance A, B and C. So, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. AC square is equal to how much? You are finding that AC is equal to under root AB square that means a square by 4 plus a square by 4. So 2a square under root of 2a square by 4. So that is a by root 2. This is also this distance is nothing but this face diagonal root 2a. So half of this distance is root 2a by 2. Root 2a by 2 means a by root 2 only. So answer is a by root 2. Answer is 1. Next question 17. Reaction of ammonia with excess chlorine. It is group 5 ammonia chemical properties reaction. See, ammonia with excess chlorine. Initially this is oxidizing agent, this is reducing agent. So it oxidizes, chlorine oxidizes ammonia to nitrogen and itself converted to HCl. But as chlorine is excess, this chlorine reacts with nitrogen and you will get NCl3. So net reaction is ammonia reacts with you can say Cl2, you will get NCl3 and HCl with excess chlorine. So you can take 3 HCl, 3 Cl2, you can take NCl3 plus 3 HCl. You will get NCl3 and HCl. Answer is 3. Answer is 3. Next 18th question. The compound with largest angle. Here metal is that central element, central atom is nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, chlorine. You know H2S, 2 lone pairs, 2 bond pair system, but actually there is no hybridization, bond angle is close to 93 degrees. Here CH4 perfect tetrahedral 109 degrees 28 minutes. H2O 2 lone pairs and 2 bond pair system, bond angle is around 104 degrees. Ammonia pyramidal 1 lone pair and 3 bond pair system, bond angle is around 107 degrees, close to. So highest is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Answer is 2. Next 19th question. This is based on adsorption, surface chemistry question. See, Freundlich adsorption, adsorption of gas follows Freundlich adsorption isotherm. If X is the mass of the gas adsorbed on mass m of the adsorbent, X by m versus P at different temperatures are given. What is Freundlich adsorption isotherm? X by m is equal to K into P power 1 by n. So X by m versus P. So here we said that, as we learned that gases are highly adsorbed at the origin, that means at low pressures they are adsorbed highly. At very high pressure the adsorption is saturated, no more adsorption will happen. So this is not, adsorption is not continuously increasing, this is not possible, it won't increase continuously with increase in pressure. Once you reach saturation at high pressures, the adsorption sites are, all the sites are adsorbed, all the sites are adsorbed means it reaches to saturation. So these two graphs are not correct, and they are reaching saturation, they become constant at high pressures, these two graphs. In these two graphs, at high temperature, with increase in temperature, amount of the gas adsorbed per unit mass of the adsorbent decreases, desorption happens. Adsorption is exothermic, high temperatures favor endothermic, backward reaction, desorption. So what will happen? With increase in temperature decrease. Here what is given? With increase in temperature, the amount of gas adsorbed is given, increases, this is given, this is wrong. With increase in temperature you see 200 to 270, amount of the gas adsorbed decreases. So answer is 3. Next 20th question. Here two complex ions are given. Those are geometrical isomers, cis and trans. You should identify which is optically active, which is optically inactive. The options are related to that. So first write transform. So cobalt, okay, +3. Here cobalt oxidation number is +3. Here because chlorine minus 2 chlorines minus 2 chlorines together. So here CO +3 is there. Trans means 2 chlorines are opposite with 180 angle, and this is ethylene diamine bidentate ligand octahedral complex. Now it has plane of symmetry. You can divide this into two equal parts. As you can divide this into two equal parts, it has plane of symmetry is present. It has plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry is there means it is optically inactive. Now you draw the cis form. Cobalt, you freeze these two positions, ethylene diamine bidentate, remaining 4 positions. Chlorine is cis, 2 chlorines CO +3, and you can keep En like this. This is cis form. It does not have any plane of symmetry. Okay, no plane of symmetry. If you try to divide this in this plane, 2 chlorines, okay, in this plane, this En is in one plane. This En will come below. So obviously it has no plane of symmetry. No plane of symmetry, center of symmetry is not there, it is not cyclic compound, it is open chain, sorry, only this part is cyclic. So no center of symmetry also you can say. No plane of symmetry and no center of symmetry. So you can say it is optically active chiral. Chiral and optically active. So trans is optically inactive. Cis is optically active. So first one is optically inactive. Cannot be optically active. That means optically inactive only. Can be optically active. So answer is 2. Next question 21. These are integer kind of questions. So here what they are asking us? They are asking how much volume of potassium dichromate required to react with 0.288 grams of ferrous oxalate in acidic medium. You see K2Cr2O7, they have given acidic medium, and ferrous oxalate FeC2O4. K2Cr2O7 converts in acidic medium as Cr plus 3. So N factor is equal to 6. Ferrous oxalate is, this is oxidizing agent. Obviously this is reducing agent, ferrous oxalate. Ferrous is converted to ferric and oxalate carbon dioxide. So here N factor if you find +2 to +3 and 2x is equal to, here 2x is equal to 6, here 2x is equal to 8, carbon oxidation number increases. So here 2 units increase, here 1 unit increase, total 3, N factor of this is equal to 3. So these 3 we are writing here, stoichiometric coefficient, this 6 we write here. 3 and 6 if we write, so just you apply M1 V1 by N1 is equal to M2 V2 by N2. This you can take potassium dichromate things, this you can take ferrous oxalate thing. You have to find potassium dichromate volume. M1 is given 0.02 into V1 by N1. N1 is stoichiometric coefficient of this is 3 is equal to N2 stoichiometric coefficient of ferrous oxalate, this is 6, M2 V2. they have not given anything. So this is milliliters and molarity. So this is millimoles. So in place of M2V2, you can say number of millimoles you can substitute. You can substitute number of millimoles of FeC2O4. Number of millimoles of FeC2O4, weight is given. Weight by molecular weight, what do you say? FeC2O4 56, iron 56 is given, 2 carbons 24, 4 oxygen 64. This is equal to 144 grams you will get per mole. So millimoles means 0.288 by number of moles is weight by molecular weight, 144 into what do you say, millimoles. This is moles, and millimoles means into 1000. That means 288 by 144 you will get. 288 by 144. That means 2 millimoles you will get. So number of millimoles of ferrous oxalate is 2. So in place of this you can write 2. So 0.02 into V1 by 3 is equal to 2 by 6. 3 2s, 2 and 2 getting cancelled. Then V1 is equal to 1 by 0.02, that is equal to 50 ml. So answer is 50 ml you will get here. Answer of 21st question is 50 ml we get. Next 22nd question. This is chemical equilibrium based question. Reaction is given, x plus y gives rise to 2z. 1 mole of x we have started, 1.5 moles of y, 0.5 moles of z, and these are in 1 liter vessel itself. If they are in 1 liter vessel, number of moles is nothing but concentration. So write the equation, x plus y gives rise to 2z. Initial, this is how much? 1 mole, this is 1.5 moles, this is 0.5 moles by 1 liter volume, 1 liter. And at equilibrium, concentration of Z is 1 molar. That means in 1 liter vessel at equilibrium, Z concentration is equal to 1 molar. That means 1 mole in 1 liter. Here you have 0.5 moles. That means equilibrium concentration of Z is increasing. That means equilibrium is shifting forward direction. If equilibrium is shifting in forward direction, you have to write this 1 minus x, 1.5 minus x. They are combining in 1:1 ratio and they produce 1:2 ratio. This Z is equal to how much you will get? 0.5 plus 2x. Now they have given 0.5 plus 2x is equal to 1 is given, 1 mole per liter. So 2x is equal to 0.5, x is equal to 0.25. So this is 1 molar. This 1 minus 0.25 means 0.75, that means 3 by 4 molar. 1.5 minus 0.25 means 1.25, 1.25 means 5 by 4 molar. So what you have to find? Equilibrium constant. Equilibrium constant you have to find. Equilibrium constant, K equilibrium is equal to, what do you write? Z square, Z concentration whole square by X concentration into Y concentration. What is Z concentration? You got 1 molar. This is 1 square by X concentration 3 by 4 into Y concentration 5 by 4. So that is equal to 16 by 15. This is K equilibrium. This is equal to x by 15 is given. 16 by 15, x by 16 by 15 is equal to x by 15 means x is equal to how much? X is equal to 16. So answer is 16 for 22nd question. Answer is 16. Okay. Next 23rd question. Number of chiral carbons present in sucrose. Sucrose is a combination of alpha D plus glucose and beta D minus fructose actually. When you write the sucrose, this is glucopyranose and fructofuranose structure. So when you write the structure, it is H, CH2OH, OH, H, H, OH, CH2OH. This is furanose structure. This is furanose form, and it is connected with here H, OH, H, you can take OH, H, OH, H, CH2OH and H. This is the structure of sucrose. So what you have to find? How many chiral carbons are present in this sucrose? How many chiral carbons are present here? When you look at, this is chiral, OH, H and these two parts are different. Here CH2OH hydrogen, these two parts are different. Here hydrogen OH and remaining two parts are different. This is this oxygen part, whatever CH2OH, this part and this part is different, and this is chiral. Here hydrogen and this part, remaining part is different. This is chiral. Similarly, this is chiral, this is chiral and this is chiral. So total 3 to 5 here and 4 here. Total 9 chiral carbons are there in sucrose. Total 9 chiral carbons are there in sucrose. This is answer for 23rd question. Next 24th. Consider delta naught is more than P. That means CFSE is more than pairing energy. Then you have to find magnetic moment for ruthenium. This is octahedral complex plus 2. The difficult thing is, which group is this? What is the valence shell electronic configuration? This is iron group. Iron 3d6 4s2, ruthenium this is 4d6 5s2 you will get. 4d6 5s2 you will get. But it is here Ru plus 2. Ru plus 2 means 4d6 is the configuration. If CFSE value is more than pairing energy, this is octahedral complex. T2G is less energetic than Eg. This is T2G. This is Eg. T2G is less energetic than Eg in octahedral complex because coordination number 6 is here. And here we have 4d6. Delta naught is more than P means what is say electron, first 3 electrons will join here, T2G lower energy. Next fourth electron, as this is high, instead of joining in Eg orbital, they prefer to pair in lower energy orbitals. If they prefer to pair in lower energy orbital, then electronic configuration is T2G 6 you will get. So number of unpaired electrons 0 you will get. Number of unpaired electrons 0, mu is equal to what you get, under root n into n plus 2, n into n plus 2 Bohr magneton. As number of unpaired electrons 0, then mu is equal to 0 magnetic moment. So answer is 0. Answer is 0 for 24th question. Next 25th question. Here this is based on thermodynamics, because delta U naught value is given, delta S naught is given, delta G naught you have to find. So you know delta G naught is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. Delta S naught is given, temperature you know, you do not know this and this you have to find. But delta H naught, without delta H naught you cannot find delta G naught, right? How can you get delta G naught? We will get delta G naught, sorry delta H naught. How can you get delta H naught? Delta U naught is given. Delta U naught is given means you know delta H naught is connected with delta U naught as delta H naught is delta U naught plus delta nRT. What is this delta nRT? Delta nRT. Delta nRT is, here delta n is, R is gas constant, temperature 298 Kelvin. Delta n is sum of the number of moles of gaseous products minus sum of the number of moles of gaseous reactants. Here product is 1 mole, gas product, gas reactant is 2 moles. So gas products 1 minus 2, 1 minus 2 is equal to minus 1, delta n is equal to minus 1. So delta U is given, this is kilojoules, but they have given answer in joules. So better to convert this as joules, minus 20,000 joules. Okay, next plus delta n minus 1 into R 8.314 joules into temperature 298 Kelvin. So once you solve this, after calculation minus 22,477 joules, you will get this. You got delta H naught now. You substitute this in this equation. So delta G naught is equal to delta H naught minus 22,477 joules minus temperature 298, delta S minus 30. Once you solve this, you will get minus 13,537 joules you will get. So this is a little calculation thing, minus 13,537. So answer is minus 13,537 joules for 25th question. So numericals in this paper are little bit, you can say calculation. Numericals are easy, but calculations are little bit lengthy. So you should have little patience to solve those questions. Okay, then overall the paper is good paper. I hope all of you wrote very well. Okay, that is the end of the 5th September second session paper. Okay, thank you.